The Inbetweeners is a 3-season British television show that focuses on the life of Will, who is transmitted to a new school where he becomes best friends with Jay, Simon and Neil. Weird enough, with such a simple premise, it is one of my favorite shows ever made. In this video I will explain what exactly killed The Inbetweeners and how it went from one of the best British comedies to ever exist to a forgotten myth. I remember the day I came upon this show. It was like 3 AM and I couldn't sleep. So I turned on Netflix and started to search for an easy watch. Then when I started watching the first episode of The Inbetweeners, I knew that it was exactly what I was searching for. The characters are probably the best aspect of this show. There is not a single boring character. Seriously, even though the main cast is amazing itself, supporting roles contribute to the likeliness of this show. Characters like Neil's dad or Mr. Gilbert are some of the supporting roles that stand out. But the ones that guide the show and its comedy are the main cast. From Will thinking that he's superior to his pals, Jay telling stories that are complete bullshit, Simon getting in the weirdest situations, to Neil just being, well, Neil. Also, the story is not to be overlooked. All of these characters find themselves in a constant growth, changing throughout its 3 seasons. The show finds a balance that lets you know when a heartwarming moment happens and when it's the complete opposite.
Fucking hell, Benji! No, I'm not. I'm really not. I promise you.
But you are for me. And you're a bit needy, and it scared me because I'm not ready for that kind of thing.
Just, tell me what you want me to be and I'll be exactly that. I'll be exactly that. Just please don't split up with me.
The best way to understand this is by the character of Jay. How he goes from a complete bullshitter that thinks that he could get with any girl to come upon a breakup that shows a more sensible side of Jay.
She was like frigid, and she wouldn't have this threesome even though I organised it with a top leather model, and my cock was too big for her.
The top review in Rotten Tomatoes by Matthew Gilbert describes this show perfectly. Quote, "On The Inbetweeners you feel the humiliation and awkwardness as well as the growth spurts of being a teenager all over again." Gilbert is right. The awkwardness and cringiness do exist, but unlike many other shows and movies that by doing this are simply unwatchable.
Find us some shade.
The Inbetweeners, as said before, find the balance. In a scene from the second episode of the first season, this can be seen. Simon has a date with his longtime crush, Carly, and has to take Will since Carly is babysitting her little brother. But both Simon and Will get drunk. From here the situation keeps getting worse and worse for both of our protagonists. On one side you have Will, who is watching a documentary on terrorism with Carly's 7-year-old brother, while on the other side you have drunk Simon trying to talk with Carly. The situation escalates when Will starts to explain the 7-year-old child about the dirty bomb and how his parents could die by it.
Not only killed, but obliterated. Merely a scorched shadow on the pavement. Dust.
So they are dead forever?
Yep, dead forever.
My mummy! My dad!
By the end you have both situations come together by having Simon throwing up all over Carly's 7-year-old brother.
Let's taste what's neat with an ice cream treat. Refresh yourself, it's time to eat. So come on folks, let's join the band as we all head for the refreshment stand.
This is the best holiday ever. 2 weeks of sun, sea, sex, booze, sex, minge, fanny and tits, and booze and sex.
Overall, I think that there's where the films failed. There was simply no balance between the character growth and awkwardness. Let me explain. In the first Inbetweeners movie, there are just scenes that are full of cringiness and awkwardness, to the point that it's not even funny. This kind of scenes make the movies predictable. So by the end, when a supposed serious moment happens, you know exactly what joke's gonna go. The first Inbetweeners movie is alright. It has some funny scenes, and even though it recycles a lot of the jokes from the original series, it is still watchable. But then you have the second movie. Oh boy. So the first act of this movie is not bad. It is actually kind of funny, but as soon as our protagonists go to Australia, the film goes to shit. Recycling jokes not only from the original series, but also from the previous movie. This movie has just some terrible and disgusting scenes by the end that once again are not even funny. Finally, I would say that October 22, 2010, the day where the final episode of the Inbetweeners TV show aired, is the day the Inbetweeners died. I argue that this should have been the true ending. In this final episode, which is really good, each character play a game, making every one of them send a message, and as well, by the end of the episode, receive a message that in some way serves as a closing of each of the characters' arcs. In the last scene of the show, a message is sent from Jay with Simon's phone to Carly. By the end of the episode, after a series of unfortunate events, Simon receives a text message from Carly, which said something that is not shown to the audience, having an open ending. This is completely ruined by the movies, how the audience had no idea what's gonna be of Simon and Carly's relationship, by showing the aftermath in the first movie. Even though the movies continued the Inbetweeners story, I think that by ending the TV show in the third season, it was perfect timing, since I am 100% sure that a show like this wouldn't be able to air in television nowadays. The death of the Inbetweeners could represent the end of an era of television that could only exist back in the 2000s.